Thor Ragnarok trailer hit. It's quite big. It's making. I've seen it pretty much everywhere on Facebook, and like a lot of my friends that don't even watch comic book movies were talking about how different it looks. They're just like, "Oh, this looks interesting." So I think Marvel's got a winner here because I love the hell out of that trailer or teaser trailer.
Well, it's done the Justice League what that trailer did in view count in 2 weeks in a day.
Wow.
See, the thing about I can't like I get that like it probably did, but the thing I don't really believe into the hype into stuff like that is because maybe it did those numbers a couple of days and then it just never went up after a certain amount. So I didn't. That's why I never.
So it's still kind of like in 2 weeks, Justice League has this.
Well, yeah, that means Thor like it was a really good trailer and it got hype. Well, it didn't get hyped up because no one like there isn't a store.
I mean, but Ragnarok didn't build up with mini teasers for 3 days before it was released. The trailer, like,
I think it's going to be the best movie of this year.
Like, I've been saying, I mean, when we did our most anticipated movies of the year, I said it's my number one. Like, this is over Star Wars for me because I want a Thor movie I can finally show the people. Be like, no, this is fucking Thor. This is why I like the goddamn character, and this looks like it's gonna be it. Like, it's so hype. The color palette, the music choice, I liked it. I mean. Everything about it just kind of clicked for me, and it's one of these things where it's a departure, and yes, Hulk is in it, and Hulk is going to be a big old, oh my god, everybody's going to be talking about the Hulk, but it's not just that, it's that, once again, it looks different, like the series is taking a different approach from the last two movies, and I like number one, I love a lot of elements of the second movie, but overall, the Thor movies are my least favorite, and that sucks because I want to like them more than all of them, so...
From the third one, it looks more interesting than the other two.
Technically, though, the first one, which of course Kenneth Branagh is more the Shakespeare guy, and then you have the second one. I forget his name, but he was the Game of Thrones guy.
Yeah,
those were different. But I think when you mean in terms of different, is like those had more of the dramatic tones, and here there is more of that lightheartedness. I think.
I mean, Kenneth Branagh had a lot of visual flair in those shots as well, and it's nice to see there's a lot of flair in the new trailer, but in a totally original way. Yeah. And it shows you can be stylish without being monotone, desaturated in terms of the visuals.
Yeah. It's literally Taika's gone, oh, that's Jack Kirby, there you go.
Yeah,
it's just the weirdness of it, right? Like it's when people say interesting or it's different. I think it is just that weirdness.
Well, no, it is different because you compare this teaser to any other Marvel trailer. It doesn't look like it.
Doesn't.
Oh, okay. Well, I was talking. I
don't making the Guardians comparison. It doesn't really look that much like Guardians.
No.
It's got colourful imagery. That's
the Guardians comparison from what I could see was. You have this one theme song that's a more literal sense. You have this one theme song that's kind of like from in the past, and then it's also just very out there and weird. And they have different choices than I think regular. I get the Guardians thing. I don't think it'll be the same as a Guardians movie. I think if anything, it'll be closer to Guardians 2 than Guardians 1 because Guardians 2 looks like it's going more wackier, I guess, in a sense, but not really, if you know what I mean. So, but
it's definitely an ongoing theme with as the phases move forward. Since Doctor Strange, they're not afraid to go out there with their visuals.
Well, it's kind of like the closer they get to the cosmic, the more they're kind of like we have to embrace what Kirby did. Like Kirby and everyone did this. We have to get that on screen,
and it's glorious to see.
You mentioned Kirby, and this trailer was literally Jack Kirby come to life, and I mean they did that with Doctor Strange too. Yep. So, and like you say, at one point. Like, they started off very grounded. I mean, people will argue this in the comments, but Iron Man 1 is a grounded movie. It's probably one of the most grounded superhero movies ever made. Like, it's on par with Batman Begins.
Space,
right, like, they don't layer anything. They just tell you a good movie. And then it starts getting more, hero-y and all these other elements. And by the time you arrive at Age of Ultron, you've already kind of introduced everything. And then you start introducing, space and everything. So... the fact they're going this far, it kind of makes me feel better about the future because they're not afraid to go that outlandish look and feel to it because Thor Ragnarok looks ridiculous in the best way possible. Like, that's the best way I could put it. Like, that's not a disservice saying that,
But like
that's the same way I say wacky, but it's not necessarily in that sense. It's like that ridiculousness where it's just kind of, it's going, it's a very hard term to find for it because it's a thing that can't really be defined. You just watch and you're amazed, you know? And that's something what Taika does. You know, he does these great movies that can't really be defined. I don't know if anybody saw What We Do in the Shadows, but that was a really hilarious movie.
That was strange, What We Do in the Shadows. That was
Hunt for the Water People was amazing as well.
Oh, and by the way, shout out to Taika. Thanks for sharing my reaction, and also thanks for the paycheck. I've been paid by Marvel to promote your movie. Yep. So that's that.
The problem is the commenters can't tell sarcasm, so.
Well, they should.
Well, I mean, I love the way they're positioning that movie. It makes me excited that the future is going to be different. And now, in a weird way, this trailer gets me more excited for Ant-Man and the Wasp, because I feel that they're going to take an even crazier approach to that movie, because we know they're going to touch upon some of the, you know, like, what was that? Microverse? Is it Microverse? Yeah.
I kind of wish Edgar Wright would have came back to do the second one, but I get, like, you know, it wasn't his. He's like, it's okay. It's okay.
And he couldn't work with suits.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably doing all these other movies anyways.
Yeah. The problems that led to him leaving haven't changed, which is,
it's a Marvel Studios movie. They want your ass, and you can't do anything you want until they allow it. So that's a problem. And I'm glad that this movie, Thor Ragnarok, looks like they let Taika do whatever the hell he wants, because it looks as insane as he is. It looks like a James Gunn movie. It's like they hired a crazy dude to make a crazy looking movie. Yeah, that makes sense, you know?
That's a very, like, why people initially thought, oh, this looks similar to Guardians. And it's not in that, oh, it's going to be exactly like Guardians. It's just something they can latch onto. You know what I mean? It's the same thing when we said Doctor Strange and Inception. It's just something for people to latch onto to get an understanding of how this is going to be. Well, and if they say James Gunn or Guardians, that really is in good terms, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people love Guardians and what James Gunn did with this. So it's like, oh, then I can expect a fun time, something out there, and I'm just gonna be amazed most likely, you know.
And there were people when Guardians, like before Guardians came out, when some of the set photos were first shown, there were certain sets of people saying, oh, it looks a little bit like what they've done with Thor.
Yeah.
Like going back. Like, I mean, there was that set with the fountain where Groot drinks out the fountain. I remember when that set came out, people were saying, oh, it's very similar, sort of. They're going sort of a different look out of space, but.
I really wish Thor 2 would have been more of inside Asgard like they had promised, probably. But it's still, you know, you get what you get.
I mean, we're getting Muspelheim in this one, so who cares about Asgard?
True.
This is true. Which sucks. We never really got into Asgard in general, and then it's going to be
really do with Asgard. Like Asgard as a whole, Ragnarok's kind of really the only story you could probably do with Asgard.
I feel like you could have did a lot, kind of something. You could have did. I feel like you could have did something. It seemed like they had something in, but they cut out. Remember? So.
Well, I guarantee they cut stuff out because the movie's cut up to death because they added like 20 extra minutes of Loki, because he was supposed to be a super minor part, but then. They were like, no, add more Loki. Yeah. People love the Loki. It's like,
And they're like, add Captain America. It's like, we've got to add Loki too. It's like, we'll make Captain America and Loki the same person in one scene. We've got to fit it in somehow.
I will say that Loki's hilarious in that movie, but that's a little bit of, like, you know, studio interference we've seen with Warner Brothers, and sometimes with Marvel, not really a lot. But, you know, that's sometimes where just studio interference sucks. So,
that's true.
But yeah, this movie's gonna be the best of 2013. I don't know what anybody's trying to.
It gives you the teaser as a whole gives away quite a bit if you actually look at it as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't quite know how it's all going to fit together.
And
I'm trying.
I do want to say this.
I have done nothing for the last 24 hours but stare at the trailer.
I've watched it a few times, but I'm not pausing it.
I do want to say this, though, because people are going to bring this up, and this is kind of disappointing that people are going to bring this aspect up. No, I don't think it's going to be a better fucking movie than Logan. But personal preference, I'm way more excited, and I think I'm going to enjoy it more. Because I know people in the comments are going to start automatically, everything has to get compared to Logan now. And no, it's like, this is personal preference, you know. So when we're talking about, we think it's going to be the best, we mean, you know, because it looks different. We don't mean it's probably going to be a better film.
Like fun, like which one we're going to have the most fun with, I guess.
It's almost entirely different genre of movie.
I was going to say, you can't compare this to Logan. You can't compare anything to Logan this year.
It's annoying. It's like when people say, would you prefer Star Wars or Star Trek? And it's like, they're very, very different
Yeah, but people still compare it. So people
just because they're in space.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's it.
I mean, people are. I mean, I think it's gonna be the best Marvel Studios movie at least. I think it's gonna be better than Homecoming and what are the other ones?
Guardians.
I think it's gonna be better than Guardians.
I mean, you could count Inhumans.
Oh, I count Inhumans.
Nah, I don't count it. I count it as a TV show, so.
But it's in IMAX though.
Yeah, but I kind of. I don't know.
I mean, won't see it in IMAX.
Literally a quarter of the
I'm probably gonna see it in IMAX, which is gonna be hype.
That's true. Well, I mean, depending on how it goes, I mean, we'll find out. So Thor, there'll definitely be more coming on later this year, so we'll talk about it way more as the time goes.